Hey guys, this one is going to be a little bit different to my norm. I've been covering the mechanical lessons in the last couple of weeks. My book is actually out as of today, right? So there's going to be a little link top right hand corner as per usual. And we have the US elections for next week. Okay, so the market currently is in a very unusual state. Okay, now, personally, I'm seeing this as potentially one of the biggest events, one of the biggest catalysts, potentially, that I've probably seen in the last 12 to 16 years, right? And there's a couple of reasons for this. Forget all the economics, forget all the noise, the news, what's actually going on. I think what I want to do is just look at what the charts are actually saying right now. Okay. So to understand in the very basic form, a very good indicator for the economy as a whole is gold. Right now, the issue that I'm seeing here is this event next week, regardless of the outcome, I think we're going to see something a little bit unexpected, right? And I think this is the economists are actually seeing a Trump win would probably boost a lot of things like Bitcoin, gold, probably SPX, right? And even if this is a short little dash, if the Democrats get in or stay in, I got this feeling that again, we're probably likely to see a very similar short little rally. My concern is purely based on the charts, right? Regardless of what party you're supporting, what your views and sentiment on this is. I'm a non-American, so for me, it's neither here nor there. I guess the biggest issue, the biggest challenge, is understanding what the impact is likely to be either which way, right? Now, as a long time trader, the one thing that I would suggest to you, given that it's literally a week away, is don't rush in. Don't try to front run any potential outcome. Right? I would even say, go away for a week, come back, fresh head, right? Fresh ideas, and ultimately look at what the chart has potentially confirmed by then. Okay. Now, in terms of gold, gold acts pretty much as a inverse indicator, right? As I've mentioned here. The reason for this is gold has always been the kind of place investors run to when the uncertainty is in the market. So the fear that I have right now is DXY over these last couple of weeks, which is the dollar index, has actually been relatively strong, right? In comparison, we've bounced around at the 170 level, which I talked about 18 months, 2 years back. And we've kind of pinged off this, giving us a bit of strength, right? So I'm just going to put the DXY in. So this is the first concern, right? This is the first bit of divergence. If this actually loads itself up, the first bit of divergence for me, right, is we have a very strong gold rally with a relatively strong rejection from these lows on DXY at the same time. Okay, so that's the first area of concern. The second part is when I'm looking at things like the NASDAQ, I'm looking at the SPX, we're seeing stories like this, right? Elon Musk just added $33.5 billion in a single day as the Tesla stock adds nearly $150 billion, right? Biggest performance in potentially over a decade. There's a lot of stories that are very similar right now. We saw obviously the Nvidia run the last couple of weeks. We've seen other stocks kind of rallying. The main question is what's actually behind it, right? Now, if we go back to what I've just said with gold, and we cover what I was looking at with gold, the main challenge and the main issue as a whole is if investors are currently standoffish and the market has no clear direction, it's almost a legacy thing where an exiting president will leave SPX pretty much as a high, right? So I'm not really concerned about that. That's not kind of the point. What I'm more concerned about and what I'm more fearful of is the fact that the rally that we're having is not really having any impact on the dollar or to the inverse, right? Then when we flip over to things like Bitcoin, we're currently seeing posts like this, right? These are the kinds of posts that we're seeing on social media. A lot of people can't seem to comprehend, again, how these asset managers work, right? You've got companies like Binance, right? You've got Coinbase and so on. If you were to go and search the top 10 companies, right, or the top 10 holders of Bitcoin, 9 out of the 10 are actually holders of Bitcoin for purchases, right? These are kind of holding assets. These are not direct buyers. Now, this is something else that kind of scares me a little bit with not just the Bitcoin and the crypto space. It's the assumption that if Trump gets in, Bitcoin's going to the moon. The biggest question still is where's that additional money coming from? Okay. Now, in terms of Bitcoin, we are seeing posts like this, right? And clearly there's a lack of understanding in terms of, why BlackRock are buying. BlackRock are buying for their clients, right? Binance are buying for their clients. Their clients, as suggested in this article, is ETFs and the companies, Binance and so on, that are actually doing the buying right now. They are buying for retail. Okay. So, with that being said, why would we expect to see the very same CEO saying that 90% of my clients are retail? Why are we seeing stories like this that the expectation is 350K? Right? Again, where's the money coming from? The reality is the news is here and designed and owned by the same types of people, right? The same types of, money players, right? These are the banks, the institutes that are currently not buying the likes of Bitcoin. I mean, these guys are currently hoarding gold. The reason for that is if retail are currently buying and the prices are expanding, we're expanding without any real earnings in stocks. We're expanding without any real momentum in terms of Bitcoin. We have a push on DXY, which means a stronger dollar. And we also have a very similar push in terms of gold. Right? We're seeing stock markets at a high, we're seeing commodities at a high, and we're currently seeing potentially an exiting president, regardless of the outcome. Right? So we're in this kind of transition period now, right now. What I would say and advise, the best course of action is no action. Right? I think let's see what the market does within a week. Don't try to front run this as a market. Instead, seek the confirmation. And I think there'll be an awful lot more opportunity for a much bigger deal within that 7 to 10 day period. All right. So I'm not really going to touch on in terms of the mechanics of the market today. I've covered a lot of these things, whether it's Euro or Bitcoin, in the last couple of streams. If you haven't watched them, go back and watch the mechanical videos. But look, be safe, be warned, and I will see you on the next stream. Thanks for watching, guys.